Guys, this is a serious video. I mean, all my videos, have an element of seriousness and an element of humor, I suppose. But Evangelista Cyborg, as you guys know, his skull got fractured by Michael Page in Bellator. Now, I'm making this video say, look, guys, say a prayer. I actually said a prayer last night. I don't pray very often, but I did. I actually said a prayer for Cyborg. If you can, get on. I haven't donated any money yet, but I think I'm going to go on there and donate a small amount. If you guys can. And I don't ever say donate money to people. I don't ever say... I'm a hardcore fight fan. You guys know that. I'm not. This is not a. It's just a Cyborg. We've watched this guy for so many years that we owe it to him. We owe it. We literally every fan, everybody that's ever watched mixed martial arts, go on and donate $1. They said that I saw that he's trying to reach a $20,000 goal. They're at like 16,000 when I'm filming this, but the bottom line is if everybody donated $1, it's going to help take care of the guy. I mean, the guy is not a wealthy man from MMA. I mean, I'm sure he's made pretty good money, but as famous as Evangelista Cyborg is, and I mean, this guy has literally, guys, he has been in some of the most famous mixed martial arts fights of all time. I mean, go watch Melvin Manhoef, Evangelista Cyborg. That is like one of the most epic MMA fights ever. Go watch Cyborg versus Nick Diaz. That's one of the best fights, one of the most entertaining just fights of all time. I know he lost both those fights, but he's got some big wins too. I remember when he fought Zarumskis, and he head kicked Zarumskis. I think it was a head kick, right? And he beat Zarumskis. I mean, that was a big upset. So he's got some big wins, and I mean, he's just been so much fun to watch, and he's a really good fighter. He's a respected fighter, and he's had a lot of fights that he's lost just barely. I mean, even the Nick Diaz. I mean, if he could have been in better shape, he probably would have continued to maul Nick Diaz. But it was just one of those things. But guys, literally, like, I don't ever say donate money. I don't ever say, my attitude is always, this is a hardcore sport and this and that. But man, I tell you what. I say they say he's going to be okay, but when you have your skull fractured like that, I mean, anything could go bad at any time. I mean, this could, you could get a blood clot, or it could. They say he's going to be fine, but I don't, as far as surviving, I don't know what they're going to do. They must have to put pins and pull that out, and then just have it to where it can sit there so it can heal. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. But guys, say a prayer, get involved. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, that would be a real shame. And I was just talking in some of my videos, man. I was just talking how you shouldn't put, like when Anderson Silva in there against Daniel Cormier. I said, this is a mismatch. You have somebody that's ranked number 1, number 2, whatever, against the guy who, is in the end of his career. I mean, he's going outside his weight class. Yeah, he's fought at that weight class before. And I was talking, I mean, he could literally, Daniel Cormier could suplex him on his head or something, paralyze the guy, you shouldn't have guys of a certain level in there. There's a mismatch in skill level. Now, that doesn't mean that that same strike couldn't happen to a more skilled fighter, but it didn't happen to a more skilled fighter. It happened to Evangelista Cyborg. You have a guy that's undefeated, Michael Page, he's undefeated, but he hasn't really fought a lot of top guys. But that doesn't mean that he's not. Maybe he's the best fighter in the world. He just hasn't fought those guys yet. That's the thing when somebody's undefeated. I mean, Conor McGregor, well, he had losses, but he was in Cage Warriors. At that time, he was probably maybe the best fighter in the world at that weight class. He's the best fighter in the world now at that weight class, 145. So to put somebody that's, Cyborg, he's my age, he's 38. To put somebody 38 years old, who's had a lot of, win a few fights, lose, win a few fights, lose, and in there with him, it's a mismatch. That's a mismatch. Michael Page was a huge favorite going into that fight, and you know what? If that were to happen with another guy that's undefeated, well, so be it. This is like I said, this is a hardcore sport. These things can happen, but to take somebody, it's like if you took somebody off the street and you put him in there against Michael Page, and he fractured their skull. You can't say, oh, these things happen. It's MMA. That they weren't supposed to be fighting. And Cyborg, this is an example of that. This is an example. Cyborg, it's not like a complete mismatch. He is a good fighter, but it's definitely something that should be, I just don't like to see that. Like when Fedor fought Ishii, they said, he punched him. He had no business being in there with Fedor, and I think he got brain damage or something, concussion or something from that fight, and I just don't like to see mismatches like that. And then I also saw some people were kind of criticizing Michael Page. He did this showboating after it. No, guys, he didn't know what happened to Cyborg, and showboating is part of MMA. Nobody did anything wrong. Okay, he didn't do anything wrong. He went in there, he fought. Showboating is part of the show. Some people showboat, some people don't. Some people are humble. Some people are real obnoxious. That's fine. That's the sport. But say a prayer for Cyborg. Donate some money if you can. I don't know what's going to cost, but they're at $16,000. It's going to be a lot more than that. And it's not a scam. It's not a scam, But I hate donating money because it's always, it's a scam. But believe me, his medical bills are going to be really high, and it's just like, man, So even if you just donate $1, if everybody donated $1, he'd have $1 million right now. Literally. So, anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on that. It's really, really sad, and I just hope he doesn't end up getting a blood clot or something, or some type of complications, or God forbid he can't. They were saying they're going to fly him back to the States or something. It's like, why can't they get the best doctors right there and get on it? Just God forbid he gets a blood clot, and hopefully he doesn't have brain damage. I don't know, but guy, it looks. I don't know all the details of it, but that's what I know, guys, and I just thought I'd make a video about it. I'll talk to you later. I just hope he's okay.